This is a story called Heights by Gary Lutz. It's in his book collection of. It's in his book I Looked Alive. It's a collection of stories. This one is called Heights by Gary Lutz. She had always kept up an interest in the avocations of the familiar. One could return to a room after all and find that paper, ordinary paper, had since been folded until it was bladed and held danger. Or one could pass into a kitchen, for one had been away sullenly again, and descry on the stove, mere finger-breadths from the oniony ebullition in the saucepan, a tablespoon already beginning a career as food itself. If she fitted the bowl of the spoon into her mouth, there would be the discovery that the stainless steel had a filling and satisfying taste all its own. She married, in other words, a fellow who had decided that women alone could ever be man enough for him now. He would entertain the pressure of her hand on his cheek and have his blood tapped and inspected once a month. One night the man wanted to have people over, people more like himself. She sat in the bedroom and listened to the men's voices, thick and inept, playing with what had already been said, making good on her misgivings. Or so I gathered as much from the deteriorating alphabets of her doodles, and from the faces with which she kept resoiling paper for me to have to regard, vessels of accumulating unease one minute and slap happiness the next, each finally evicted from the page with jerked expunctions of her eraser. For this woman was no gabber like the ones they usually put next to me now that they had us working to a table. The regular pencil looked heavy-set, out of scale, between her hurrying fingers. She was a worthy opponent of herself, gray fillings discriminable in the thin teeth during a rare, airy yawn. Depleted comeliness to her face, no one word out of her, ever. But one day a switch of her hair fell finally across my sleeve. I forget who followed whom out onto the landing. We sat in her car because the passenger seat of mine had been stuffing itself all along with steadfast pilings, elevations of newspapers, circulars, discarded cardboard. Her voice was melodial but economic. She explained that her mother had always claimed that hours weren't bait, something laid out to trap with, but as far as she herself was concerned, time was still meant to keep itself told. Thus, her hand came to rest so livingly on my own. We became another arm-swinging pair, waging walks on the town, fooling with heights.